Hey guys, welcome to Wrench to Drive. This is a quick update on the Kyosho Fazer. No, that thumbnail was not accurate, guys. That was just a clickbait. Shame on me. This is not the setup I'm going to run with the charger body. This is just some oversized wheels that I'm running in kind of a rally configuration. This is kind of on par with an 8th scale rally car, guys, just so you know. Like with this size of wheels and this wheelbase, it's a short wheelbase 8th scale rally car is what it amounts to. And I had these kicking around, and where I live there's lots of gravel and poor road conditions, so the tiny touring car tires are not ideal, guys. And I knew that when I got it. I got it because of that sweet charger body, guys. This way it's actually a lot more drivable. I've had it out once for a real quick bash, and it's really fun, guys. It handles all manner of terrain with these big honking tires on there. And these are just cheap plastic wheels, guys. Just super cheap. These tires were like 12 bucks Canadian, so 10 bucks American, something like that. They're not bad. They're they're not really ideal road tires. They're not really ideal off-road tires. They're kind of a mix. They're reasonably soft. They got foams in them. Nothing to get too excited about, but they make this car really fun. That's my nickel's worth. There's going to be some running video coming soon, and you'll get to see it. But anyways, the main thing was, if you're like me and you don't want to trash that stock body, but you still want to drive your car, which I'm not the kind of guy that likes to see them sitting on a shelf, this is a decent way to go, guys. I have to say I'm pretty impressed. I'm definitely not opposed to this car sitting all winter with the charger body on it and the nice Dukes of Hazzard style wheels and whatnot, but in the summer I actually would like to get out and drive it. So that's what I'm doing. And the body I'm running, seen this before on my channel, is this cheap bug body. It's actually really easy to get fitted up. As you can see, I've got 3 sets of mounting holes now. The stock ones, the Arma 4S ones, and these are the touring car body ones. And yeah, whatever, it's got some extra holes in it, but I can use it on multiple vehicles now. And for a cheap body, what do you got to lose, right? I mean, it's just a cheap body, so you don't destroy the one you care about. And it fits pretty well, guys. I had to bump up the front mounts 1 notch, and yeah, she looks pretty good, guys. She looks pretty good. Like I said, there'll be some running video. I'll show it to you in more detail. Now, one thing about these bodies, guys, is I've seen them. Guys are onto these as a way to make money. So they're basically drop shipping or buying them to sell them, and the price is kind of going up. I paid like 27 Canadian bucks for this one, which to me is pretty much the right price. I personally wouldn't want to pay a whole lot more, maybe 35, maybe. The reason being, they're not super thick, guys. This polycarbonate is it's average. It's not going to last forever. As you can see, I added a bunch of tape to strengthen it up because I didn't want to destroy it. And it's an okay body, guys. Don't get me wrong. You just don't want to pay top dollar. If you're getting into the $50 range, just buy a Pro line, buy an Arma, buy a real body. At the price that these things are at, for cheap, they're okay. For real money, not so much, unless you really love it. So that's a good way to get your Kyosho Fazer up and running without destroying that sweet factory body. Oh, and the other thing, guys, if you take a look here, you'll see that I'm running the disc brake wheel adapters, but I don't have the calipers on there. Guys, if you're running in dirty conditions, take those calipers off. Dirt gets in there and it just scratches the ever-loving crap out of the calipers, or the rotors, sorry. I don't know if you can see in this video, I'll have to look, but I mean mine are not in good shape anymore. And the other thing that happens is you actually can get a rock in between the wheel and the rotor and the caliper, and then my calipers are all chewed up too. So if you want that stuff to look real nice when it's sitting on the shelf or when you go to sell it, take that stuff off, because it gives you no driving benefit whatsoever, and run it without it. And I don't know if you're supposed to do that, guys. I've never heard anybody talk about it, but that's my advice to you, is take that stuff off if you care about it, save it for later, don't run it on there because it just gets destroyed. Alright, on to the Kyosho body, and I did another video on this, guys. I can't remember if I posted it yet or not, but the reason for all this is that I've had this out a whopping twice, guys, and all these little orange spots are where I touched up the body because it had gotten chipped and was basically clear to the day. Now from the top you couldn't really see that it was all chewed up. It was not that easy to see, guys, but oh man, I promise you, if I had run it a little bit more, it would have been terrible. So I did two things. I just used some cheap acrylic paint and kind of mixed it up to color match it. A little bit orange, a little bit of red until I got the right color. Not that difficult. Doesn't have to be perfect, guys. If you get it close, you won't be able to tell. And then you dab that on there, and a smart guy would add another layer of protective paint, you know, some white or something, just to add another layer of protection, because this paint is not that thick, guys. And then the other thing I did, as you can see, is I made some inner fenders. These are just cardboard covered in electrical tape, guys, and just taped in. And I haven't run them yet, but they'll be fine. I've done this before. The only downside is it's a little bit heavy, guys. It adds a little bit of weight to it, but if you want to run the body and you want to save it, and you're in a really dirty environment like I am, where there's a lot of rocks and pretty much all year, guys, you want to protect this body. Don't do what I did and just run it, because it is not that durable, guys. People who are saying this body's super durable are, in my opinion, you know, they're fibbing, guys. They're making up some stories, because it's just not that strong, guys. And that's fine. You know, it looks really good, guys. It looks awesome. My advice is, if you really love the body that you got with your car, save that for a shelf clean body. Buy yourself a cheap bashing body that you like. You know, I like this body. You know, it's not just because it's cheap. I'm a huge Volkswagen fan. You know, I think this looks really sharp. Throw that on your car, go out and bash it. When you come back in, put on the nice body, have it sitting on the shelf. All good, guys. And hey, by all means, do whatever you want. But you know, where I live in Canadian pesos, this body's about 110, 120 bucks. It's really expensive, guys. So I don't want to just destroy it. You know, that's more money than a cheap Chinese car. And honestly, I mean, it's not that much more fun to drive than a cheap car. The reason I want to drive it is because I like driving my stuff, guys. I don't want to have something sitting around that's never getting driven. I mean, if I just wanted this thing sitting on a shelf, I could mock up a chassis and, you know, there you go, problem solved. It's just a nice body on a pretend chassis. But anyways, that's me going off on a rant. But you know, do whatever you want. You know, it's your stuff. But if you're like me and you want to drive it, but you don't want to destroy that nice fancy body, get yourself a cheap one and slap it on there, guys, and you're good to go. Obviously, there's a million touring car bodies. I just don't have one, so I decided to go with this Volkswagen one. One other thing to mention about the car itself, guys, is that you may have heard me talking about this, and my stock Kyosho ESC did not work. They sent me out a replacement, so you know, it's all good. I'm happy. I suspect that the reason there's a problem with that ESC, guys, is it's your typical 60 amp brushed ESC. They're super common. The Hobby Wing 1060 is along those lines. Your typical crawler ESC is along those lines. What you're going to see on a lot of them, guys, is that they're rated. Guys, those ESCs are rated for a 17 turn or greater motor on 3S. And there was a warning on my Red Cat, for example, that you shouldn't run 3S. And I believe that motor was actually one turn below what that ESC was rated at 3S. Hence the warning, I'm sure. You know, not every ESC is going to go up in smoke, but you know, enough of them went up in smoke that they felt the need to stick a warning sticker on there. Now with this guy, this I believe is a 12 turn 550, guys. And my suspicion is that stock Kyosho ESC, yeah, I have this stock Kyosho ESC here, guys, and if you look at the sticker, it says it's rated for 2 to 3S LiPo, guys. Let me see if I can get this to focus. So this stock Kyosho ESC, guys, says that it's rated for 2 to 3S LiPo, but anywhere you can find anything about this ESC, which is not very much, guys, it only says it's rated for 2S, and I'm pretty sure the reason for that, guys, is that this is a 12 turn motor. This is not your typical 20 turn 550. So what that means, guys, if you're new to the hobby, as you decrease the number of turns, when you crank that motor up to full RPM, it's going to pull more current. And with your ESC, the main limitation on these guys is the current. The more current you pull through it, the harder it is on the ESC. So if you exceed that peak current or that continuous load current, you're going to have a problem. Now this one is rated at 60 amps continuous load, and I'm guessing that a 12-turn 550 on 2S pulls more than 60 amps. That's my guess. And I haven't checked it. It's a bit of a pain in the butt to check because you really don't know how much it's pulling unless you have it under load. And reading an ammeter while the car's driving around is not so easy. And I don't have anything like a dyno setup, to where I could actually test the load. So, I mean, you can do it, guys. You can test it, but it's not the easiest thing to test to see if what the actual continuous load current is in an RC car. You got to have some equipment to do that. So that's my suspicion, guys, is that this motor is a little too hot for that ESC. And whatever. It's kind of disappointing that they would ship out a car that maybe is set up a little less than perfectly to run right out of the box. I mean, I'm big on cars out of the box performing properly, guys. I hope you've got that message, in my videos, but whatever, guys, it is what it is. I'm running this super cheap ESC, guys. This thing is about the cheapest one you can find out there. I don't recommend it, guys. The quality is mediocre at best. The only reason I got it is I wanted to see what a less than $10 Canadian ESC was like. Honestly, I can't complain too much, guys. For the money, less than $10 Canadian. I've used this thing quite a bit when other ESCs have given me trouble. This thing hasn't. Now, in this configuration, guys, it seems like this ESC doesn't really like even a 2S battery. And it's rated at 120 amps, so what does that tell you? I mean, obviously it's not up to it. Because, I ran it for about, I don't know, 5, maybe 10 minutes, something like that. Let's say 10 minutes plus. Let's say I was having fun and I didn't notice how fast the time was going. And it did cut out on me, guys. And it's working again now, so I don't know. It wasn't that hot. I checked it, the old finger test, didn't burn myself, so it definitely wasn't that hot. The motor wasn't hot. Battery wasn't hot. Nothing was hot. I thought the battery was dead, guys. The battery only took 2,000 milliamps, so either the battery's a dud, it's basically brand new, or yeah, there's a problem, guys. And I'm guessing that it's a case of this motor is a little too much for a wimpy ESC, guys. So take that advice for what you will. If you buy a Kyosho and you're wanting to run it a lot, I don't know, you might want to factor in that you're going to want to upgrade the ESC at some point, guys. I don't know. I mean, I've seen lots of videos, guys are running these things having no problems. When I test out the replacement ESC, I'll let you know if that thing's working okay. I've used this one. This is the dud, guys. I've actually put it into a crawler just to see, and it actually worked fine, guys. Like, no load. Nice slow crawling. The motor doesn't even get warm. Blah blah blah. This thing, actually seems to work. So I think I'm right about that motor just pulling too much power for it. And that, to me, it's like, well, how long's that replacement gonna last? Kind of makes me wonder. I don't like wasting a perfectly good ESC. If I can use it in something else, I don't want to just destroy it. So, anyways, I've babbled on long enough, guys. But so yeah. Anyhow, guys, not a bad car. It's definitely fun. These tires make it more capable in all-terrain type situations. Handles pretty well. It's a little bouncy, guys. Yeah. Anyways, there'll be a video coming. So, thanks for tuning in. Wrench to drive, or drive to wrench.